All right, so here we are. So, wow, this is another episode. Actually, Andre, this is the second, I guess, episode here because I had a
Nice.
one not too long ago with a past client of mine, and I remember at that time I
Mm.
was trying to decide, okay, what would I call this? And so I had a few ideas, but I think I'm pretty much settling on the fact that this is going to call simply a soul conversations.
Mm.
And that just feels right. That feels really well with me. And so, as I was thinking of that, you came to mind at one point because one of
Mm.
the ideas that I had was, wouldn't it be cool to kind of connect with some of the people I've worked with in the past
Mm.
and see what possible impacts my work has had,
Mm.
on their lives, right? And see where they're at now. And so I thought of you and I thought, you know what, let me just reach out. And obviously, we did. It was a very quick exchange, and you also felt, as you said, the resonance. To let people know here, my name is Mick, and yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do more of these soul conversations that have to do with anything around path, meditation, purpose, things that can allow us to really move throughout life in a way that we feel fulfilled and feel really reflects who we are. And and yeah, so obviously having Andre here is a good opportunity to have some great conversations around that.
Mm.
And Andre, yes, if you want to let people know,
Yeah.
what you are about these days, and
Yeah.
that would be a good place to start.
Absolutely. I mean, the labels that come to mind is men's work facilitator and a relational coach. Though to dive deeper on what that means is, as you were talking about soul talks, I really help men do their soul work. I call it inner work, diving deep into themselves and
Yeah.
bringing stuff up to work with to transmute. And so helping men to build the emotional literacy, the awareness of their needs, the integration and wholeness of all of themselves so they can show up in a way that's more effective,
Yeah.
better performance at less cost. Not the over hustling, burnout type of energy or the shame that I put on myself that I'm not good enough, I got to be better, which never stops, but more from a place of empathy, compassion, grace, which frees up a lot of energy
Mm.
and allows me to get clarity on where my direction's going. So helping men be self-led leaders and being self-accountable to the idiom of know thyself. It
Mm.
starts with that, inner, outer. And in terms of relational dynamics and helping people with relationships, I work in the field of conscious communication with my beloved Summer. We're helping people learn how to love each other again.
Mm.
Because a lot of the disconnect and the conflicts and the ruptures that don't get repair is because wires are crossed and the way we communicate, the way I show up encases that wiring or tightens the knot.
Yep. Yep.
And we're here to give people the awareness that, hey, there's a different way of communicating. That wire I learned before doesn't work, but there's a skill to be able to bring life back to the conversation, to be able to hear what we're truly saying underneath the hurtful comments.
Yes.
And in addition to that, we bring in the key piece of nervous system regulation and awareness of like, am I talking right now? Am I resource enough, have enough capacity to have a productive conversation? Or am I in my hurting or wounded place where if that other person may not have the capacity, it just makes things worse? So
Mm.
we bring people with the awareness and skills that weren't taught when we grew up, right?
Yep.
And all of this was an evolution and deepening from the time I met you back in 2016.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's almost what 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots, lots has happened clearly, you
Yeah.
know, and so it's very interesting because everything that you're sharing now, that pretty much is the result of these 10 years and how things have
Mm.
evolved through that time. Because at the very beginning, I mean, at least when I met you, you did something that was totally, I mean, not even close to that realm, right?
Mm.
I remember for you, you were very much into the business world, right? Helping people with their payment processors. So
Mm-hmm.
very tech side of things, sales side of things, right? Obviously, yes, still about, connecting with people and developing relationships to make it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see how you are now, right, compared to then. And
Mm.
I know that you talked about how we met and what we worked on, which is essentially we ended up having a purpose clarity session.
Yeah.
Because you were wondering, or you want to get some clarity around what your purpose was. So what would be interesting is to actually think in terms of, even before us meeting and you having that purpose clarity session, can you remember, like, around that time, what are the things that led you to think more consciously about the idea of purpose and your direction in life?
Yeah, just networking and meeting other people that were purposeful, that asked me questions such as, do you have a mentor? Do you have someone you look up to? And my mind totally drew blank. It drew blank. I'm like, I never asked myself those questions, or even what my values were. I never went through that myself in school and post-secondary, even in the career that I had as a software developer before I went into sales. So that sparked a curiosity of, like, who am I? Okay. And when you met me, I was more about finding myself in this world of business, in the world of sales, as a way of becoming and unpacking how the world responds to me and how I show up.
Okay.
And a big piece of it too, adding to that, is going into sales. I got into the world of personal development through the books, through the YouTube of, like, Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, you name it. They talked a lot about that stuff. And I ate it up. I just, like, sucked it all up.
Yeah.
Because it was something that was so needed in my life. Because looking back, I reflected, I lived so much like a victim. And it's just an acceptance of where I was, where I didn't think I was a creator of my own life. That I had to do what my parents told me to do, what society tells me to do, follow along in the order of things. And when I receive teachings and insights that, yeah, I can create my own destiny, that I can be responsible for my life, it was so liberating that it became addictive.
No,
though in a way, and very empowering. So
and so for people who are thinking of that concept of victim, the way that you use it, like, how would you define it in the way that it was related to your experience?
Yeah, I remember, like, the jobs that I had, I was just waiting to be told what to do.
Okay.
I didn't have the self-initiative or critical thinking to figure out, oh, just do this. I waited for instructions. I was so used to it. Without the instructions, I felt lost.
Okay.
Yeah. I also felt powerless because I'm waiting for instructions from other people to tell me what to do. I didn't think I had that ability to do that myself, to carve my own path. So I became kind of a follower, though at my soul level, it ate at me. And I used substances and distractions to numb that feeling. I didn't deal with that feeling. It was a sort of depression and anxiety I was carrying with myself. And so I used the weekend or video games, anything to distract myself from feeling what that was, because it didn't feel good. I didn't want to deal with it. So I kept stuffing it down.
Yeah. And so did you happen to remember when you would not have these distractions for whatever reason? What would you then experience as a result?
Yeah, and that shift of, like, moving away from those distractions was moving into another realm of addiction. So instead of being addicted to numbing myself and distracting myself, I was addicted to consuming knowledge.
Okay.
Because once I found out that I was living as a victim through this personal development work, I became what I label or judge as toxic positivity. Like, everything's unicorns and rainbows. I had to look at affirmations, convincing myself that I was confident, that I could do this, look myself in the mirror. And that's okay, because it was what I needed at that time. Right now, for me, if I were to do that and not look at the parts of myself that needs attention, I would be avoiding. But at that time, I liken it to an analogy of a airplane, right? A commercial airplane that needs so much fuel to take off the runway. So I needed that injection of
Okay.
positivity to
Mm,
get me off the runway of victimhood, because my inner critic and my victim was so strong
mm,
that I had to counteract it to get action done,
yeah.
to make decisions, to go out there and talk to people, to pick up the phone and make some cold calls. I was so nervous. I remember, I'm like, I had so many stories of like, no, they're not gonna do it. They're gonna say no. I was
Mhm.
afraid. I was so nervous, and I had to like talk myself through it and
Yeah.
just break through it.
Yeah, because it's not
Yeah.
easy, right? To be able to move into this different set of behaviors,
Mm,
especially once you realize that you need to move away from, as you're calling it, this position of victimhood.
mm,
It takes a lot of effort, right? It's almost like when
mm.
that rocket needs to be launched, right, into
Yeah.
space. So much energy is needed at the onset, right?
Mm,
But once that's first phase is taken off, is taken care of, then okay, it's a little easier, right? And then
mm,
at that point, once you are in orbit, it's so much easier to kind of glide.
mm.
But the initial step is always the most difficult. And
Yeah.
so for you, like, what was the
Mm,
motivation for you
mm.
to be able to transition out of that ultimately?
Yeah, it was freedom. Even the name of kind of like the group or what I'm creating is called Achieving Liberty.
Okay.
Liberty, being free from mental and emotional patterns, being free from being dictated of how I should live my life.
Mm,
I like the idea of liberty is doing anything I want, anytime I want, with whoever I want.
yeah.
So liberty was so key to me because I felt like I was enslaved for like the first 35 years of my life. I
Okay.
didn't know any better. I
Hmm.
was living based on other people's expectations. And then when I came into environments where entrepreneurs, business owners were creating, it gave me this transference of belief. So not only did I need the jet fuel, the toxic positivity, you call it, the environment was so crucial to me to be like, you know what? I see a better life here.
Yeah.
I had to make the choice myself because if someone told me, Dre, you're being a victim, get out of it,
Yeah.
I would probably resist him or her.
Yeah.
I needed to make this choice myself when I realized, wait a minute, there is a better life than what I'm living right now. There is a possibility. So you know what? I'm going to choose that instead of this.
Mm. And now, to be clear, I mean, for you, when you talk about a better life, and just
Mm,
to kind of clarify what you're referring to, are you talking material stuff?
mm,
Are you thinking intangible stuff? Like, what was your idea for you of that better life?
mm. Yeah, definitely. I look at prosperity, like to
Mm,
be able to live in abundance, not scarcity,
okay.
to be able to not be so tight around money, to
Mm,
be able to give and contribute my time and be less transactional and be
okay.
more relational.
Mm,
So it's kind of moving out of the space of like win lose or lose win or lose lose to win win.
mhm,
And how can we co create and support each other to elevate like a rising tide that lifts all ships? Because money to me is important. I live in an economic system where I need money to pay the bills and have the lifestyle that I have.
mhm,
So I'm working on my relationship with money as well. That is more because it allows me choice. It allows me to create an impact. And it's an ongoing relationship that I have with money. And in addition to that, there's one dream of like, man, I love to take care of my parents. I choose into that because they've given me so much. I moved from the state of resentment of like, man, focusing all the things they did to me,
yeah.
right? That they didn't give me to what did they really give me? And really landing in that where my energy shift from resentment to gratitude. And in the Asian culture, there's a lot of community. There's a lot of perhaps expectations or obligation on taking care of the family.
No.
Anyway, I shifted out of that to being like, I want to
Yes.
take
Okay.
care of them. And so when they get older or I get older, to be able to have the financial means to take care of them and not stress so much,
Mm,
right? So this idea of creating comfort and discomfort at the same time,
mm,
yeah. And that just comes with the choice of autonomy. So autonomy is a key word, freedom,
yeah.
choice,
Mm,
and space. Yeah. Those are key motivators for me to create this
mm,
life right now. Yeah.
mm. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge because you're talking about the resistance, right? And we all have it at some point. And
Mm,
then to be able to make the shift, I mean, really, there's always that element of, okay, as much as yes, it's about giving and contributing, it's also about what does that bring me, right? Because it's almost as if there needs to be a meeting of the grounds. So for yourself, as you are thinking of that contribution, and yes, taking care of your parents as they're aging, and same thing with you maturing, what does that bring you ultimately to be able to, move in those waters, be able to do those things?
Joy, like a reason for living, a sense of like, wow, I feel connected to life. When I'm able to contribute to another's well-being, it gives me well-being. I just feel it in my body of like, wow, I made an impact in someone's life. I contributed to something. My life has meaning. I am useful. I am needed. That's a big piece for me is I want to create, I want to build, I want to leave a legacy. And I don't think I'm the only one in this. That this evolution of, I want to build more confidence. I started out because I felt insecure in my own journey. I wanted control. I wanted autonomy. I looked at how I could support my parents, but just like this purpose that evolves over time, and not looking at like, well, I just want to help, right? And I'm just naming this, that there's a part of me is like, no, it's not about the money. I just want to help. I got to satisfy my egoic desires of creating a life of comfort as well. There's things I like to enjoy. I love to travel. I love to spend and let the money flow like currents. And so this is for me to cultivate a healthy ego that, yes, I want to attract money so that I can reinvest it towards something. I can expand my life and contribute to others' well-being. But here's the thing, with that flexibility of moving out of the scarcity mindset to be able to take care of myself, it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm able to move towards self-actualization and deepening my purpose of truly, if I were on the beach sipping pina coladas, right? I love this thing. And someone asked me, if you had all the money in the world, Dre, and you travel all around the world already, what would you be doing on your life? That's a higher purpose. And in combination with my egoic desires, which are okay, I have a higher self that is here to manifest the world of raising the consciousness of humanity. That's my backdrop, is to be in service to creating a better world. Yeah. And that's the key piece that drives in the background for me.
Yeah. And the thing that can be very challenging. And so I'm wondering like how you handle that aspect is when it comes to making decisions, because yes, as you said, there's the one side that yes is driven, to want more money, but at the same time, there's the other that's about, the altruistic side, right? Making that contribution, changing things. How do you go about or even balance the idea of when you have to make a decision that money is not the primary factor, or maybe it is, knowing that you have that side of you that also has to make sure that whatever decision you make serves that higher purpose?
Yeah. So there's probably I call like a list of values that are important. Because if money was my number one value that dictated, then I would sacrifice relationships. I would backstab people or not tell them the truth because I wanted to get money. So for me, if a values ladder is important of what's the priority here for me to filter through from a logical point of view, for me is relationships. It's all about relationships. I could have nothing but have relationships. I'll be able to get back on my feet. Because it is through people that open doors. It is through people that make things happen. I benefit from this electricity, from this internet, from technology as a result of people. Just like a potluck, when people bring their food together, we have more than enough. I'm not meant to do this by myself. I'm here reaping the benefits of other people's efforts. I go to the grocery store and like all of these were done by a series of people in the supply chain that bring this. So I recognize that relationships are number one. Number one. And key in business is referrals. I believe that referrals and word of mouth, nothing beats that. The word and the reputation. And hey, I could swing a business deal and hurt and burn that bridge. Maybe short term I win, but long term I won't. Long term I won't. I've learned that myself, that relationships is number one. So it's got to be that. But the money piece comes in of more of valuing myself. So I got to shift from thinking, oh, I need money from you, Mick, because this proves that I'm worthy. So I want something from you. So this is a story where I got to work within myself, because there's two polarities I find in life as I do this work, it's a paradox. It's a paradox between my higher self's desires and needs and my egoic self higher desires and needs, right? And sometimes they conflict. So it's about having a conversation with both, moving back and forth, having a healthy money program of my self-worth, and also being a service to what is the creator's will here, right? And there comes this trust and faith piece of like having a spiritual practice to connect me to something greater than myself. Like, it seems like my judgment is, and I'll speak for myself, that something's built within me where if I'm in service to something else, I go 10x on it, for example.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm just serving myself, I'm not as motivated. Like going to the gym. If someone's like there, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gym because you're there. But if I go by myself, it's like, So I feel like I'm more inspired
Yes.
to be of service. It's like built in my DNA, my blueprint.
Totally.
So there's something there, right? Yeah.
A difference, absolutely. You know, anytime we start including other people in the equation, even though it may feel easier to just go at things on our own, once we have other people in the equation, yes, for whatever reason we feel drawn to do more, right, and experience more, and even that, you know, helps us lift us. And by the end of the experience, we can look back and, for the most part, you know, unless something happened, we're happy that we took that path where there was someone else or other people included in that experience, right? So so for you, I mean, and you mentioned some interesting things. The thing about the dynamic with the relationship with money, I know that's something for me right now. I mean, for years that's always been like in my mind, right? So for this year, it's been a matter of really not worrying about it and focusing more on, okay, the things that really matter, and allowing that to really drive everything that I do, believing and having the faith that everything else is going to follow, right? As opposed to the other way around, like in the past, where I would be so much driven by, okay, money first, how can I get that, and then not really care about the rest so much. Flip that around. It's a different way of living, and there's definitely adjustments that have to be made around that, because it requires a lot of faith, right? Because it's almost like walking in the unknown. So it's interesting that you're bringing that point. But now I'm kind of wondering, because you brought up two things: the meditation piece, which we're gonna get to, and the purpose aspect. So do you remember when you and I had that purpose clarity session? Now, give me a sense of, well, for one, as you were going into it, what were your feelings about it? What were maybe some of your expectations, maybe concerns, fears? Do you happen to remember anything that was leading up to that moment?
Yeah, I do. I remember clearly I was excited. I wanted clarity, man. Purpose clarity session, right? And that's what I was looking for. I was ready to be an open book. I was ready to work on this. So I came in with just a deep yearning for clarity. And so that led me to be excited about it. And during the session, it was very introspective and at times feeling lost, because having or being in that process of getting clarity can sometimes be like a growing pain, be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And though with your guidance, and I'm grateful for your guidance, because you're someone that is doing this work, you're able to reflect back to me to get clarity, you know, which I do in my own life for others as well. And so I left with a feeling of like rejuvenation, inspiration, appreciation for the time that we have. I still clearly remember the purpose statement was, I help people grow and live life through their values. Yes. And I still remember, because it landed for me, because I still do that today. It just has evolved in terms of the mission or the strategy, though really the foundation revolves around that, because I so value living a true, authentic life, that my soul was meant here to be expressed, to call me to live from the inside out. And I truly believe that every person on this planet is meant, their soul was meant to be here to be expressed out throughly, that a world would be heavenly if we were all empowered to discover what our strengths are and contribute our talents and gifts to the upliftment of suffering confusion for all of us. Right? We all have these talents and skills that are unique to each individual. And so when I saw that, I'm like, man, that really lands for me, because I was on a journey that didn't know what that was for me.
Yeah.
And I can only take people as far as I've gone. So I definitely have the experience of being so lost.
Like a lot of us. There's so many times I felt that way on this path, man. Oh man. And so it's interesting because there were times where I felt that way for an extended period of time, and then I would feel fine, and then there would be these micro moments where I would feel that way again, and I would have to, get my bearings again. So it's always evolving, right? And so to go back to you, so yeah, I mean, I remember by the end of that session, because I think we connected for about an hour or so for it, and you were just on fire after that. I still remember the energy. You were just on fire. Dude. I was like, wow, just step aside, Nick, just let him go.
Thank you for, the fire's always been there. And it just needed that spark. It needed more pieces of wood in there, right? To stoke. And man, clarity is so juicy. Clarity, man. Like you said, like a lot of us are lost and looking for truth. And clarity can be so freeing. It is freeing for me. It's liberating. It's like, move out of the way, because I know what to do. I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah. And that's the thing that can be tricky, right? Because you talk about, your soul and really paying attention to what's happening inside. And man, I've been guilty of that as well. We hear what's happening, and that voice telling us, the direction or the whispers, right? And sometimes we miss it, sometimes we can hear it. And I know, as far as I'm concerned, there have been many times where I would hear it, but for whatever reason, I would go in a totally different direction. And then something would happen that reminds me, okay, dude, you have to go back on that path, right? And then I would go, yeah, right, and go back in. And so there's almost this back and forth. And then what I found over the years, it becomes a matter of just developing the skills and the awareness to remain like on the path, right? And not being taken out of it. And so developing that resistance. So what has been your experiences that time? Because we're talking, just 9 to 10 years, right? Your ability to, once you knew that, to kind of carve your way through, to get on your path, stay on it, determining what aligned, didn't align. Give me a sense of how that's been.
Yeah, and I just want to, preface it with this journey that, in some indigenous cultures, like, boys aren't men until they reach the age of 45. In Think and Grow Rich, they say men don't mature until they're past the age 40. And so what it likens to me is that these indigenous cultures talk about is the years below 40 are meant to experiment, to try to do different things, new things. And if I were to answer that question now, when I look back, it's like saying yes to everything. Saying yes to everything so that I know what resonates and what doesn't. Like, for me to know what I want, I got to know what I don't want. That's a clear thing. When someone asks me, what are your values, Dre? He's like, I don't know. But when they ask me, like, what are not your values? That is so clear. It is so clear to me what I don't want. And so I tried like almost everything. Like, I tried network marketing. I tried different sales affiliate partnerships. I tried some ideas, and some failed and some didn't work out. And I gained what I got from it. What landed for me was what I took with me. And the key part for me to stay on this path, and it always makes sense when I look back, is, okay, do I have the guardrails in place? Because I know that after I've done all the yeses and I landed on what's true for me, it's easier to say no because I have clarity. Yeah, and it's sometimes so hard to say no, especially when I'm curious, when I want to learn and grow and expand, and in that forward movement of like exploring, right? And it's this young spirit, it's this adventurer within me, and it's okay for me to say yes. It is okay until the point of like, is it time to say no? Because am I still, spinning my tires here? There's a time to know when to shift and redirect. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm in that stage now. Yeah.
Yeah, and you bring up such a good point, right? The part where it becomes very hard to, yeah, to no longer say yes to exploring other things, because you get, at least what I've experienced, getting to a point where there's such undeniable truth that whatever else you may think or consider is not the path. And also when we add the component of time, right, age as well, and it may be a time where we're feeling like, okay, at this point I really no longer have time to waste. Have these elements that come into play, it becomes very hard to say yes to things that we feel doesn't belong on the path and is not the path. And I think what can also happen is that there's almost, I'm not sure if I'll just use my example, if it's just a matter of unconsciously maybe, or part of me that maybe wants to take the easy route by saying yes to these other opportunities who are not really part of that path, right? Because deep down, I know what being on that path means. It means going so much deeper within myself, and the work that's required to go within and being pulled. Because it's not even something that I do myself. I get pulled in this rabbit hole within myself, right? And so I don't know if part of me is saying, okay, do I really want to go down that path? But at the same time, I know I want to. So that's why, yes, it definitely makes it so much harder to say yes to things where I know it's not going to be part of the path that I'm really meant to be on. So what are your thoughts around this idea?
Oh, really lands for me when you talked about mortality. When I get to an age of like, oh my, I am feeling my mortality at the gym. Or when I look at my parents and notice they're older, or the people I follow are passing away. Oh my God, I just watched a movie with this person. And this wake up call of like, yeah, I might be on the other side of the 50, right? I have less years left than, live, the type of thing. So that mortality is really landing for me, is like, I will die. And that's a wake up call. And I love how you pointed out where there's an avoidance in me too, of like, saying yes to things, doing busy work, for example. I'm still guilty of this right now. I do busy work to feel productive, so I feel good within myself, but it's not moving the needle forward. And I'm avoiding the hard things that I really do. And what is that? Like, I look at it, I'm like, there's one thing is the fear of success, a fear of like what people will think of me, or the people in my group creating stories that they'll judge me for being better than them. And they didn't want to hang around with me. I have the story that runs through, and I got to name it, right? I got to name it. Okay, interesting. So I definitely can see that as a procrastination strategy for myself, to do other things and then feel the gnaw within myself. And also, if I go diving deep, there's also fear of like, oh, what will I uncover? Where would this go? Because it's the unknown. Yes. It's uncertain. It's like edge work. Every time I dive deep into myself, it's like I'm trying something different. It's like they say, like another level is another devil. If I keep going down to it's like I'm always uncomfortable in a way.
Yeah, and I know for myself, there are times where I go, man, I just want to rest for a little bit.
Yes, I know what you mean. I'm like, oh man, I gotta take a break. and then put in the reps, man. That's true. I feel you, man. It can be exhausting.
Yeah, it can be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Oh man. So, and clearly, I mean, you've been able to, get to where you are now. Helping men and in the realm of relationships as well. So, along the way, whenever those opportunities came for you to veer into this direction, how were you able to determine? Okay, yeah, that's what I should pursue. And
yeah,
you remember?
I know. I look back. I love my memory. And I love this opportunity to reflect back, because it helps me solidify and celebrate my growth. It's constant action. That's it. It's continually take action, not giving up, resiliency, failing forward, trying different things. It's through the data. I can get sucked into learning and podcasts and books and stuff like that, and it's comfortable. It feels good as if I'm making progress, I'm learning something, but I'm not taking action to make shifts in the world. I had this realization at one point when I reflected, I think this past year, of like, man, my priority is to make real life impact. on top of serving relationships, how am I really impacting people? Am I impacting people by taking an online course right now? By reading, doing podcasts? No. Making real life impact is talking to someone, reaching out to someone, even interacting with people in my environment, saying hi, leaving an imprint. So when I shifted my focus towards how can I be with people? How can I interact and talk to people? That's where I gathered data. That's where I got refinement of like the patterns and the people that showed up in my life. Like when I started coaching, I was like, what type of coach? They asked me like, find out a niche. I'm like, I have no freaking clue. It was so hard. I was like banging my head. And this is a time where AI wasn't around, right? And I'm trying to figure out my niche. Like I had to guess. Like it was like, I think I do mindset. And I'm like, mindset and habits coach. Oh, work with Asian men because I was an Asian man. And it evolved, right? And so the people, the experiences, seeing the synchronicities and the signs along the way, it was like, It felt like I was going down a funnel that got more clearer of like, this is it. And it's just like, I'm still maturing, Mick. I'm still mature. And I make this, the word that comes to mistake, but it's more of like, it's really not serving me. Is comparing myself, my 2-year journey, for example, to another man's 15-year journey. Oh my God. As if I look at the cover of their social media and their followers and I make up a story that I should be there right now. Not realizing what is the work they took to get there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Self-torture. And you know what broke that for me, Mick? Was talking to that person and inquiring about their journey.
Okay.
Was connecting with mentors that were further along. And they told me, Dre, it took me 10 years of consistent work. I'm like, whoa, I'm only on the 5th year, man. Like, so that gave me hope. That brought me back down to reality.
That's huge.
Yeah, huge. It created belief to be around people that are just a couple steps ahead of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about that also, it's like that comparison. And we were talking about meditation. Like for me, all these years, because I started really my meditation journey, I think around 2012, 2013, like at the onset. And like right before starting to write my book. And as I look at the progression, and even now, the one thing that really helps with avoiding that comparison, because it is there, we'll always have it, especially once we're exposed to everything, like social media, like crossing paths with someone who we think is so far ahead, right? It's really spending that time in meditation with myself and listening to that voice inside and the spirit, and just being so focused on that. Because once I am able to get grounded in that, it makes it so much easier to avoid that comparison, because in that space, I'm always reminded, just focus on yourself. On yourself, right? And so when it comes to the external world, I've developed the habit of, okay, if I am to, let's say, get on social media and see various profiles, I think of it in terms of I'm only going to glimpse at them. And also there has to be a very specific purpose. So for me, because we are in the world of business, right? It's good to be aware of what's happening around. So that's how I approach it. It's more in terms of glimpses. And then I go back into my tunnel vision, right? My tunnel focus. Because if I spend too much time there, then it's going to start impacting the conversations that you mentioned. And that is terrible. So the meditation piece, huge. So for yourself, like, tell me more about the place that meditation has in your place, and anything from the way it relates to the way it helps you maybe with making decisions, the way you see yourself, your evolution, your connection, even.
100%. Meditation led to greater compassion for myself. The self-talk, checking with my language, and being able to separate myself out from, I call it my saboteurs, my protective parts of me that go on this rabbit trail. And if I'm not aware of it, right, meditation helps me to be present and conscious. Then I become it. I'm enmeshed with that thought, that negative thought. So this helped me temper it and do a reality check. Like I said, like, focus on me. checking in. I even have this positive self-talk. I talk to myself on that. Helps me gain clarity. One piece is building my intuition. When I'm present, I sit with something, I tend to like, hey, I got a problem. I'll put it out there. And I'm not going to force myself intellectually think about it. I'm just going to sit there and be present and connect my breath. And if for some reason some insight comes in, some wisdom comes in, I'm like, whoa. And this really lands. And it's just this way, I just breathe with it. I'm not rushing, right? I'm practicing
Yeah.
to just be with the problem and not having the rush to fix it. Just like in relationship, my partner shares an issue. And there's a part of me that's like, I want to solve it for you, fix it. But can I just be with it and be okay with not doing anything? Being okay with not knowing, being okay being in the shit, being in the muck, and just sitting in it. And for some reason, the energy moves.
Yeah.
So one thing that helps me with meditation is moving the energy in my body that was stuck before. It's acknowledging the emotions and energies within me. Not only just like being at peace, but I use it to reconcile my inner reality and gain clarity from that.
Yeah. And you know, as we talk about like meditation, for me, I was having this conversation recently with someone, and I almost find it too bad that the word meditation feels almost so restrictive as a word, right? Because sometimes when that word is brought up, you know, people start thinking in terms of where their quote unquote allegiance is in terms of religion, right? So for me, it's so unfortunate because I would really love to, if there could even be some other term, but it's very much about using it as a way of saying, essentially, spend time with yourself,
Yes.
right? That's all it is.
Yes.
And then all the things that you mentioned are going to happen. Like things are going to come to you. Like you're going to be more grounded. You're going to be able to hear things. The noise is going to clear, right? And then you can use it for so many aspects. Like at this point, like the kind of meditation that I do, I call it functional meditation. Right? Because it's finding a way to kind of bridge the gap with the things you hear inside, and okay, now the actionable steps that you can bring into the world that aligns with what you're hearing here. And so as we think of that, I mean, that's the most important piece because as you said, I mean, despite all the chaos that we are experiencing, and it's the way at the speed at which things are moving, and it obviously is not helping with AI coming into play, right? And accelerating things. I firmly believe that as we move forward, we are going to have an increased need for the ability to connect to ourselves and also connect with each other in real life, right? So the meditation piece or spending time with yourself, it is going to be so increasingly more important moving forward. And the applications for it, I mean, only people will be able to experience it once they incorporate that into their lives, right? The same way that we breathe.
Yeah, landing for me, brother. Landing for me. I love it. It's just spending time with myself, reframing that meditation from this idea that I need to be in a lotus position. It needs to be quiet. The light needs to be dark, and I need to create a space for it. Rather, the word that comes to mind for me is presence. Presence with myself, presence with another. And you named it, in a world where the world is speeding up, that everything is designed to take my attention and energy. The currency is not only authenticity, realness between people, because of the virtualization of things and the isolation of things, that there's so much a need for human connection. In addition to that, is the quality of my attention. Because of these dopamine hits, these wires that are pulling me in so many different areas, what is my quality of attention, which impacts the quality of human connection with myself and another. And so when I have that discipline to cultivate not being hooked by these algorithms, that's freedom. That's empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the ability for us to realize what is our path, right? The path that's meant for us. That is going to look very different from the next person to the next person. I think that's what this world has kind of created, right? It's almost like creating an interference with our own ability to see our own path, spending the time with ourselves, right? And so if we can create a space, an environment where, and again, I mean, that's makes me think of what I just launched, right? And I
Mm,
know I talked to you a little bit about before. It's SoulWork is really creating this space where we can reconnect with ourselves, with our soul. So at least we have
mm,
this incubator, right? This space where we are isolated from all the chaos and how fast things are moving, where we can go
mm,
back and connect like we are connecting now, have these meaningful conversations and ask questions, that can hopefully help us get to where we want to be in the most efficient way
mm.
while dealing with the way the world is moving. And that
Yeah.
is what I hope we can continue to create and having these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Because even what you're doing, I mean, it's for people just like ourselves, right? At one point
Mm,
felt or feel lost.
mm,
And we just sometimes don't even know what it is, right? We know something is off.
mm.
We wonder, okay, what is it? And to be able to bring some of these answers the way that you do, for instance, I mean, that's definitely what is needed more so moving forward.
Yeah. It
And
shifts the
especially,
vibration away from resentment to anger and anxiety, depression to like joy, to
yeah,
inspiration. Like it just shifts the tipping point to a different vibration frequency. If I'm happy with what I'm doing, like even just any job, like am I in tune with their vision and mission?
yeah,
Are the values the same? And when it is, like I'm in tune. I want to show up to work. I want to contribute. I want to be seen and recognized and leave better. That's just for me a belief that every person here has positive intent, a positive regard to make the world a better place.
yeah,
There might be a subset of people that are missing that part, sociopaths that just only care about themselves, or anarchists, who neighbor, whatever.
mhm,
But just saying, a majority of people just want to do good in the world. And I
mhm.
love how you talked about like this space to slow down, because as the world revs up, there's going to be a more need to slow down, just like the balance in Star Wars. There's got to be a balance. It,
Yes,
it just got to return. It's like it's so easy to swing from one side to the other, right? But it's got to come back into balance here.
totally. Yeah, I love the analogy. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you're addressing things on multiple levels. Yes, it's on the personal level, but you also have the relationship aspects, right?
Mm,
Between couples and the communication there.
mm,
Because absolutely, imagine,
mm,
yes, you have one person who either is or has done the work, is doing the work, and is able to have that groundedness and this yes, I guess maturity, emotional maturity, spiritual
mm,
maturity, maturity in terms of communications, to be able to nurture the right type of dynamic. And on top of that, if you add like a second person in the couple that is also able to do that, I mean, at
mm.
that point things are even better, right? Mhm.
Yeah, I love the equation of 1 plus 1 is not 2, but more than
Mhm.
what can I realize. Like I can do so much myself, but when I team up with someone, we're doing things like many hands make light work. It's like the potluck analogy, right? Like we bring two food and we're like, I'm so full, we got way more food than we need. And
Yeah.
this idea of like in a relationship, it can make or break me 100%. Like
Mhm.
if a relationship's not serving, I'd rather be single. I'd rather be single because it takes so much energy. It affects my psyche so much that
Mhm.
being with someone, sleeping in the same bed with someone, there's an energy exchange
Oh, totally.
and we become each other. Like there's influences that happen. And are we naming, are we communicating? Are we on the same page? And when we work with couples, like first thing we ground them into is this stage 3 idea of like, okay, stage 1 is what about my needs? Stage 2 is what about our needs? Stage
Mhm.
3 is what about the relationship's needs?
Oh,
What is
yes.
the vision of the relationship? I was never taught this of like, I came in because she was hot. She was attractive. I just want to, right? I need to get my needs met, and
Yes.
never ask that question of like, yeah, why are we in a relationship? Oh man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Having
Even going,
choking here. That's so true, man. Oh my goodness.
mm,
And then to also find someone who is willing, to think in terms of those terms, right?
mm, mm,
That no, he's not just hot, right?
mm,
And he's yeah, to really look further than that. I mean,
yeah.
that's huge.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, further than that checklist, people. Even though it checks off everything, right? We got to look at the values checklist too. We got to look at, okay, is there a vision here? Let's be more intentional. That's an invitation. Invitation for those watching.
But
It is.
it's so interesting because even that, I mean, when it comes to that, where does it start? for individuals, imagine if you are in a place where you know what your purpose is, right? You know in which way you want to contribute. It makes it so much easier to see who fits in that picture or not. Whether it's an intimate, partner, friend, like anything else,
Yeah.
right? But it starts there, and then everything just lines up after that. The decision that we make, purpose becomes a filter. I was having that conversation, the previous soul conversation. Yeah, it just everything filters down. Same thing that you said earlier as well. The value ladder, right?
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Then it's so much easier to see, okay, who fits in the picture or not. Even in terms of, because of the vision that you have or that we have, the energy attached to that particular vision. When we have people that come into the picture, it becomes very easy to see, okay, if the energy matches or not. The energy is complementary or not, if it takes away or it adds, right? I was having this conversation with a great friend, and I was talking of the idea of amplifiers, right? The kind of people that we can meet. We can meet with people who are takers, right? Doesn't matter, even in terms of energy, you can feel like drained after you're around them for some reason. And others can be very neutral, right? Nothing happens, you're just there. So it's like, okay, what's going on here, right? Everything remains the same. And you have the amplifiers, where, as you said, like 1 + 1 equals more than 2, right? Things are added, amplified, and then because of that, it becomes so much easier to see what makes sense, who makes sense to be in the picture or not.
Having that clarity of knowing what a match is goes such a long way and saves a lot of heartache, saves a lot of time, saves the pocketbook, because divorces are quite expensive. Not only money wise, but emotionally and mentally, right? And so there's this like idea, and I mean, a whole dating world relationship is a whole another pathway we can take to talk about of the state of the dating world. And maybe we'll park down the other side, but I'm just naming that, like, man, just looking at like this relationship where I have this orientation of what can this person do for me? Like, right? This taker mentality, and for me, it's like, I just want to be worthy. I want to be with a hot girl to make myself feel worthy and get other people's approval that I'm doing something good here, and just naming that versus like, what can I give to this relationship? How can I amplify this relationship? And are we on the same page with that, right?
And not really care what the world may say about it, because you're just living your own truth, right?
And that can be so tough, because I want to belong. I want to fit in. I don't want to deny that I want to be part of the human tribe, that I don't want to spend my life alone, that I find this connection so nourishing, because like we're speaking the same language. It's like, man, people are awesome, and I want to be around that. And at the same time, I want to be me, right? And so this balance between what I see Western society that celebrates individualism, be yourself, and while the Eastern philosophy is like, community, family, support, and at the expense of self, it goes back to the middle thing, not one side or the other. It's like both, both, and it's contextual.
Totally, yeah. It's very much about finding the sweet spot for each one of us, right? Because you said they are extremes. So how do we find the sweet spot for us? And I think that's part of the dream, right? That's the thing that makes it challenging, also exciting in a way.
Yeah.
It is about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So then I was curious for yourself. You mentioned earlier how after being clear on what your purpose was, how the manifestation of it evolves over time, because that can be the tricky part, right? Where we may know our purpose, but there are different ways in which it is reflected through the things that we do over time. So for you, can you speak about the evolution of how that's been manifested through time in ways?
And speaking to what comes alive for me is natural confidence of who I am and what I do. And with confidence creates momentum. With confidence, momentum creates clarity. And with like confidence, momentum, clarity creates attraction and magnetism. Because as I get more confident why I'm here, the type of work I do, so does my message get more clear.
Mm.
And when my message gets more clear, then people out there, it's like me being the spotlight, the lighthouse. My light's more clear, more brighter.
Mm.
The proper ships will now know that we're in alignment, and the wrong ships don't. Because I find that when I'm not clear myself, then what I'm putting out there, and marketing is such a beast, is confusing. People don't know what I do because I'm still discovering myself, right? And if you look at Gary Vee or any other self-help trainer person, 5, 10, 20, when they started, it's like you could tell they're kind of green, right? They're new and they're not as polished as they are now.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, I can't skip that journey.
Mm.
Putting the reps in and being okay that like, yeah, it's hard at this moment because I want to be where that person is 20 years down the road. I got to check in with myself in that story, right? Give myself grace and be with those that are just a couple steps ahead to give me that, like, so then I can put the reps in,
Yeah.
get more clear. And because I'm more clear with my message, the momentum picks up because now people know who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
And then that becomes that click. And it comes out like, I don't need to be everything for everybody.
That's right.
I don't need to take over the world. I get to just be me and look at my lifestyle and be like, what's a sustainable lifestyle I want to live? And there's more than enough people in the world that love this work, that want to do this work, right? And so I just got to get clear on what that is and put myself in that position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you how do you feel about your journey so far? I mean, 10 years, right? How do you feel about it so far?
I mean, it's just begun in a way. Like, I think I'm really landing in this, like, because my core wound is self-worth of like, I'm not good enough, like, and like, I got to learn more and take more courses and do all that stuff. It's this belief, right? And so at this moment, there's more belief, there's more confidence. It shows up where before I would not speak up for fear,
Okay.
right, of being judged. And then I was swinging to the other side of wanting to be the first person to speak because I wanted approval. I wanted to be seen. To the space of, I'm good. How can I add to this space? How can I notice things are off and name it? It's like being a self-led leader. At the same time, how can I elevate this space that I'm in, like an amplifier? But it's not about me. It's about the collective. It's about how can we all raise, right? And so there's a different type of energy, what I call, like, as people age and become more wise, there comes more play. And that's what I'm discovering more, is bringing more play and less like, yeah, it's good to be serious, but all the time it's like, oh man, how can I have more fun, more play? It's like me walking down the street. Can I dance while I walk down the street at the same time while I do this? So bringing in that laughter, the jokes of the universe when things go wrong. It's more that jester energy, the energy of the fool. It's such a wise archetype to embody.
Good.
Yeah. Did not take life so seriously. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. I mean, there are so many reminders of that, right? Because when we really have a chance to sit and look around, and sometimes I know I get to think, you know what? At the end of the day, things are not as bad as I may think they are. I don't need to put so much pressure on myself. I can just relax, enjoy the ride, look around, right? And in the grand scheme of things, really things are okay, right? So really, yes, as you said, just have fun, enjoy, be present, right? The people that you're connecting with, the intimate person that you're with, like enjoy the time. If you have kids, enjoy the time with them, right? It's okay to create the space, to have the space, to not be so busy. Right? All of these things. Again, it's almost like the opposite of the world that we're living. It's almost as if the norm is no longer the norm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be a human being. It's like instead of being human beings, being robots.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. No, and so that's why I think for some reason I felt that like you and I needed to reconnect and have this kind of conversation, because when we are in the midst of it, it can be tough to see what's happening.
Mm.
But when we have
Mm.
time that has elapsed, in our case, well, 10 years since that purpose clarity session, it's
Wow.
so much easier to kind of take a look at those milestones, the evolution, and really honor in a way like how far we've come, right?
Yeah. I can't believe it's 10 years, man.
Time flies.
I think we got more facial hair.
Oh, definitely. I had more of that baby face back then, that's for sure. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so as we're bringing this into a learning, I mean, you want to let people know like where,
Mm.
well, for one, we'll start with where they can find you,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure to put that information in the description.
Sure.
And let's start with that.
Yeah, where you can find me is with my name right there, Andre Lamb. You can find me on Facebook. I'm active there, as well as Instagram and LinkedIn, right? I post regularly on that. And we also have a community on Facebook, a Relational Wisdom School. It's like a place where if conscious co-creating relationships is something that you vibe with and resonate with, meaning relationships that are intentional and to be here to serve each other, create a higher purpose with conscious communication, check it out on Facebook. It's called Relational Wisdom Community. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, if you had some, parting words for anyone who is on that path, whether it's, yes, they want to get clarity around whether it's the purpose, the path that they want to be on, like staying on the path, like for you, like what comes up to you in terms of sharing that with someone?
Man, right away, what comes to mind for me is like calling someone up that, speaks the language and is vibing just like this and having an opportunity to reflect. Because so often I can find myself so busy, blinders on, doing the work that I'm not celebrating. I'm not recognizing how far I've grown. And it's good to just sit back and be like, wait a minute, I want to celebrate. It doesn't have to be all the dark moments, the heavy moments, the challenges, but take a step back and be like, you know what, I'm going to celebrate myself, not from a place of like needing approval or trying to convince myself, but accepting the win, accepting the growth. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and definitely for making the time, for us to reconnect this way. I'm sure we'll reconnect again very soon. But aside from that, I really appreciate everyone that is watching or will be watching this video, and they are definitely going to be a great place where we can continue having these soul conversations, ask questions about being on the path, getting answers, and that's why I launched this free community for now called SoulWork, and you'll see that the information is going to be here as well in the description, and it's going to be on Skool. So if you look for SoulWork, it's one word, we'll be able to connect there. But otherwise, thanks so much for being part of this soul conversation, and we're going to have many more of these. And again, Dre, glad to see how far you've come and the impact you're making, and the impact that you're going to continue to make. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you for seeing me. And thank you for being here with me to explore and reconnect again.
Absolutely. All right, man.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.